Welcome everyone. We're going over the XPS Network software from both the desktop and mobile app point of view for both coaches and athletes. So getting started, once you log into XPS on the desktop, you'll be brought here to the home screen and you've got access to our blog where you can keep up to date with our latest news. And you've got all of these tutorial links on the side here, which if you press on, will just take you to our Sideline Sports homepage. And you can scroll through and watch 3 to 10 minute videos specific to the features that you were interested in watching. The main area that you'll be working out of in XPS to begin with will be the collections. The collections tab is where we're going to store all of the IP, all of the knowledge from the coach's brains into XPS. So the drill collection is a library of all of your drills. And for example, we've got some soccer drills, we've got basketball drills, and we can click on an individual drill. We can read the description, we might put in some key coaching points, and we might have a video or a screenshot linked with that drill. And we can search, we can tag all of our drills. So if we went into these football drills here and we clicked on one of them, you'll see that they've been tagged, so that if anyone searches, for example, agility, all of the agility based drills are going to come up on the side here. Now creating a drill is really simple. We just click the plus button at the top here to create a new drill. We can give it a name, so let's do 3v4 overlap, for example. And we can give it a headline. We might put the activity description, put in any text that you like, another paragraph. This might be key coaching points. And if we go over to the right here, we can add any video locally from our device, image, something from our playbook diagram creator, which we'll go through shortly, and any video from YouTube you can embed via a YouTube link, and it will just ask you to paste the URL in there. Apart from drills, you have access to over 2,000 exercises courtesy of XPS. When you sign up, your network is automatically given all of these exercises. For example, if we went into resistance training, upper body, and we were looking at chest workouts with a barbell, these are the exercises that we have included in that folder. And when we program workouts for our athletes, we use these ingredients to build the workout programs, and we can put in reps, ask them for their intensity, their RPE out of 10, how much rest, and all of those properties come into play when we're creating the exercises. So if we wanted to create a brand new one, let's give it a name, and we can decide which attributes are we going to measure when we are performing this exercise. Do we want to take the reps, the weight, the intensity level? And your strength and conditioning coaches have a lot of customizable ability here to drag across any type of attribute that they want to measure. Same as the drills, if we wanted to put in, the workout description, we can do so. Type how it's going to work, how we could put in any progressions, any images, videos, again, or a YouTube link. So if you've got some great workout videos on YouTube or on your local device and you want to upload them, this is the place to store them. Now, where the drills and the exercises come together is building session plans and workout programs in the calendar. Now, the calendar is probably our most used feature, and it will provide an overarching view of what all of your teams are doing. So on the mobile device, you can also see a similar layout. The agenda here is for the current day, and it will show all of the future sessions or events that an athlete has going on. I can click into those sessions. I can see which members are going to be there. As a coach, I can mark the attendance, so we can go through and say who's going to be there, who's away, are they sick, injured, or other, and we can leave a comment. And we can do the same thing here in XPS on the desktop. So for example, if I opened up the session for Team A in the morning, I'm going to be able to see which drills we're going to be doing and performing during that time. I can edit them. For example, if we wanted to change the wording or anything like that, you can edit the drill in the session, and it's not going to edit the drill in your collection, so you don't have to worry about changing the original. You've got a coach's notes field at the top here, So this is for anything that you want your other coaches to read, and this is for your athletes to read. So if you wanted to say something like bring a water bottle, this is a message you want to be sent to the athletes. So you would put it into this box. Anything that's just private for the coaches to read goes in here. Again, as a coach, you can mark the attendance. So you'll see the half marked attendance that we had from the phone beforehand. And I can go through and finish that off. I can say someone's injured. They might have ankle injury. We'll mark the rest as present. And we can attach things like documents, files. We can send forms attached to particular sessions. For example, feedback from training. How did you feel after the session? And we can notify the athletes on their mobile phone after the session ends or beforehand if we choose. And if we wanted to create one from scratch, we just select the team that we want to create a session plan for. So team A, I can right click on the 16th and click new practice. I can give it a label. Let's say it's morning and we want to have the session at 9 in the morning. Choose a color. Athletes can arrive 15 minutes beforehand. The location, and you've got a list of all of the recent locations that you've chosen. Now we've got our drill collection off to the side here. So if I wanted to build a session plan with all of these basketball drills that we have, I could double click to move them over, or we can drag them across and they'll fill out the program accordingly. Now you'll see here that the minutes and duration is at 0. If I wanted to add those minutes in, I can say, well, this particular drill we're going to do for 10 minutes, and then I can just press the down arrow on my keyboard and I can say the next one will be worth 15 minutes, the next one for 5 minutes, and 10 minutes again. So now the duration of the session at the top here is now 40 minutes. I've put all of the length of all of the drills in there, and I can close that, and I can see that it's now going to be available on my phone. So that session was on the 16th. I can click on that session. I can see where training is going to be. So if I wanted to click on the location, it will offer me the option to search Apple Maps to find out exactly where we're playing, which is handy if your athletes haven't been to a location beforehand. I can register the attendance, and we can look through the drills. So as an athlete or a coach, I can read everything that's been programmed for the session. I can click next, watch the videos, look at the screenshots accordingly. Great. When we're talking about exercises, we program individual workout programs. So if I ticked this athlete in this team, for example, you'll see that he has a workout program that he's actually completed on the 9th of December. And we can open that up and we can see which exercises he's done, what weight he's done. So 55 reps, had 2 minutes, 55 kilos, had 2 minutes rest in between. And that will also be available for us to view on the mobile phone. So as a coach, I can see which programs my athletes have been doing. So I can go to their calendar, look back to when they had a session on. So he had a workout on the 9th, and I can click on that. I can go in and I can change anything that I need to, if there was anything input incorrectly, or I might be there at the gym with the athlete putting in those numbers. How much rest did we have in between? What was your RPE out of 10 for each exercise? And we're able to look at the stats over time for any completed workouts for that particular exercise. We can read about it and watch the videos. Great. Now if we wanted to create one, we can just tick the athlete, right click on the date we want it to occur, and click new workout. And we can again start double clicking on particular exercises, or we can drag them across. For example, if we wanted to bring up the bench barbell from before, I can say I want the athlete to do 8 reps of 40 kilos and rest for 2 minutes. And I can just click this little copy button here, and we can repeat that 3 times. So the athlete now knows that on their phone they have to complete 8 reps of 40 kilos, and then they can put their RPE in on the mobile. Great. It's all well and good to do individual sessions for players and plan training sessions accordingly with the drills, but what if we want to do it for a whole month? And this is where session templates comes in. So session templates are where we can build workout programs over, for example, 5-day period. So if I had a full body core program that I wanted my athletes to do, I can click generate and decide which athletes do I want to send this particular workout program to, and it will send it onto their calendar for the 5-day period. The same with team practices. If we wanted to set up a whole month's worth of football training, where each day we have program drills of what we're going to do, how long that's going to go for, and descriptions, coaches' notes so that coaches can read about what it's going to be. And then if I hit generate, we can decide which team do we want to generate that team practice for, and that will go straight into their calendars and they'll be able to see it on their mobile as well. In the collections, we also have the Documents tab. Now, the Documents tab is essentially your top level Dropbox Google Drive subscription. You have unlimited data. It's run off Amazon server, so anything that's uploaded is converted into a file format that is easily downloaded from the cloud. Now, if you wanted to watch any videos, you can download videos if you have the ability. You just go to advanced and hit download videos. And this document storage area is for anything that isn't a drill or an exercise. So if you had GPS data, if you had marketing material, if you had any spreadsheets on old computers, anything that would be valuable to your organization, you would store here in the documents. And to do something like that, you can just hit the plus at the top, give it a name, and we can drag this in and out of folders if we like. And again, we can just add video, any links. If we right click, we have the ability to link it to a PDF document, a website, and we can share with athletes right from the documents collections. So if we wanted to share it with a particular team, you've got the ability to select your teams here, and they would get a notification on their phone that they've been sent the mental preparation documentary. The test collection, this is where we build a library of our testing data, any data that's numerical that you want to bring in. For example, your readiness, you might have a wellness readiness form that you send to your athletes every morning asking how they felt, how did they sleep, are they sore, are they stressed? And you can build these tests yourself or use the ones that we have provided for you. For example, yo-yo, agility. To create your own, you just hit the little plus at the top here, give it a name, and we can decide what measurement do we want that test to be in. So time, for example, what's the scale of time that you want to measure, milliseconds, and then we can put this into a form and we can fill the data out accordingly. For example, you might be at the track with your athletes filling out a form on the phone, and all of the data goes straight back into the system. Anything that's not numerical can be created in information. For example, you might have questions about the athlete's goals for 2023, and you can give them choices. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, or just a plain text box to fill out on the mobile, as much text as they like. Again, just hit the plus button, give it a name. Do you want the name to be the same as the question on the form? Do you want to give them multiple choices or just a plain text box? Really simple. And where that all comes together is in evaluations, forms. Forms is where we can create a form. For example, this readiness one. This is the one where we were looking at sleep quality, mood and stress. So we've given it to an athlete on the 5th of December. And if we wanted to start it on the 14th of December, which is today, and wait for an answer, we can do so. We might select a whole group of athletes and say every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we want to send them a notification at 7:30 in the morning all the way until the end of the season in June, so that we can start getting that data. In this case, I'm just going to ask for it once, and I'm going to show you how that looks on the phone. So we can see here that there is now a readiness form on the athlete's profile, and I can click on this form and I can just tap to fill in the bubbles accordingly. So how did you sleep? How did you feel? What's your mood like? Are you stressed? And then we hit done, goes green, and all of that data comes straight into the system for us to view. We're going to go through the communication messaging function. So we've got the ability to send messages to individual players, send group chats, create custom group chats with individuals, whatever you want to do. We can send anything from our collections. So if I wanted to attach something from our documents collection, we can grab anything from there. I can send photo and video, or I just might want to message an athlete individually. Also in the mobile app, if we go back to our home page, athletes and coaches have the ability to click the little speech bubble up the top here. We click on that, we've got access to essentially a Facebook Messenger layout where you've got all of your chats, individual and group chats here. We can view those, we can type other messages accordingly and send them. Let's say if I wanted to attach a collection item from our documents and I wanted to send the athlete's mental preparation documentary, that will go straight through and the athletes can open that up on their phone and they can watch it accordingly. When you get that data that we were talking about during the testing and information collections back into the system, we can display that using our new reporting functions. And where we can go to look at all of this data is in monitoring and reports. So in monitoring, this is where we set up a profile where we can look at each athlete individually, or we can build reports to view the team as a whole. So for example, Adam here, we're looking at his match stats, how many minutes he's played, his statistics for the games, how many goals, assists and cards he has, how many practices he's attended over time, and then we've got a log here of his attendance and his activity for forms. We can go more in depth and we can put things like readiness onto the athlete's profile, show their daily readiness, we can show them the training load there for the acute chronic ratios, and display your data in any type of chart format that you like. Now if we wanted to look at the team as a whole rather than just clicking through individuals, we can create team-based reports where we can begin to see all of the athletes in the one report. So for example, this is the team readiness score out of 100, and we can go down and we can see the trend and a really nice table for all of the players and see who's struggling. So if they were in the red, why are they tired? Why are they not getting much sleep? And we start to build this accountability with our players, and coaches start having a lot more data available to them, which is easily accessible. And you can view this data as well on the mobile app. If we go to the bottom right to the statistics tab there, we can see Adam just like before. We can view his readiness data if we want to. We can go through just like we're looking at now and view the readiness training load for the whole team. So in just a few clicks as a coach, you have this overarching view of all of your athletes' scores, how they're performing, how they're feeling, and you can then message them through the messaging function straight away if you need to. Testing results. So if you've got long jump statistics, you might score it using colors. So if somebody's in the red or the green, whether they're above or below average, the same with 20-meter sprint. And this is exactly the same on the desktop, just in a nice full reporting format. Training loads, and even things like the leaderboard where you can see who scored the most goals, got the most assists, depending on what sport you're looking at. Physical testing data, any data that you have in XPS, you'll be able to display it really easy using the widgets in our report function. And the beauty of it is we set the reports up for you if you need. You can customize them yourself, However, it's nice to have them here ready to go, so as soon as the forms are filled out, you can display this data in a really presentable, nice format. You can print the reports off, give them to parents, give them to other clubs, do whatever you need to do with it. Reports. This is where we can create athlete and create team reports. So everything that you saw in monitoring, we created those team reports in here. So the readiness training load report that we were looking at all of this data, and I believe it was in February that it was all put in. So now once the date range is going to be corrected, we can see the data in the way we want it presented. And we can edit this report. And if you want to put more underneath it, you can grab the corners and you can drag and drop and make them bigger and smaller. Using our grid system, you can hit this little plus to create a new chart or a table. So for example, if we wanted to create a new chart, like a line graph, we get the ability to select what testing data do we want to look at. So we might want to look at everybody's 5-meter sprint, and we want to have their latest input. How do we want it to be displayed? Do we want to show the team average? And then we can begin putting things like rules behind each graph. So if somebody scored a certain amount, it will be green, yellow, red, totally up to you how you want to display it. And you might create benchmark reporting, so you have an elite athlete at your club and you're showing their statistics in comparison with a grassroots athlete. It just depends how you want to use the data accessible to you. Now we're going to go through our playbook function, which is where we can create diagrams and animations. So this tab here, you've got the ability to choose the type of field that you wanted to have. Some of the fields will have the ability for you to choose colors and edit them accordingly. And if you don't want to use the current sport that you're in and change, all you need to do is go to the settings tab, go to playbook, and you can change the sport over. And we've got lots of sports in there. So let's choose basketball. And now if we click playbook and we open up the backgrounds, you'll see that we now have our basketball courts in here. So let's choose the half hardwood court and let's create a new animation and give it a name. So let's just say example, and we can zoom using this tab slider off to the right here. And now we can start putting in all of our icons. So let's say we had all of our defensive players spread out, all of our attacking players, and I'm just clicking on the icons and placing them down. If you didn't want to use these particular icons, we could use buttons where we're placing down numbers, and you'll notice that if you click a little box next to a number, they'll begin to increment accordingly. So if you wanted to use red and blue icons instead of the players, you can do so. But for now, we'll give the player in the key the ball, and if an icon is too big, we can just click on that and we can decrease the size so it fits into the animation a little bit nicer. So if I wanted to make the movement occur in the animation, we can use our paths up the top here. Now we can just click one of the arrows. I might want to bring the ball out to this particular point, and I'm just left click on the ball and I right click where I want the arrow to stop. The player is going to come with the ball. That's going to bring the yellow player out to the edge, and this blue player is going to move inside. So if I play that animation, you'll see that everybody just moves like this. And we can change the duration, so if we want it to happen a lot quicker, in 1 second, you can play it like that, so now they move a bit faster. And this allows you to then set up your next frame. So if I wanted to continue the frame from here and then say that this player is going to throw an overhead pass to this player, you'll see that the first frame happens in a second and then the second one's going to occur. We would probably speed up that pass, but for the next frame we can say that the player is then going to shoot with the ball. And we'll make that 1 second so it all works a bit nicer. And again, we'll go up to our top frame, zoom out so it's a lot easier to use. We can play this animation. Take it to the rim, score the layup, nice and easy. And we can insert this straight away into our drill collection if we want to, frame by frame or as an animation. So if we went and we created a drill in our collections, let's call it easy layup, and we went back to our playbook, we can insert into our drill, click OK, and now we can see that our animation has been linked to the drill. Athletes and coaches will be able to just click on the animation and hit play on their mobile, on the desktop for the coaches. The next feature I wanted to go through is the analyzer. This is our video coding and editing software. Now, the video analyzer is very in-depth, so I'm not going to go and speak too much about it. There is a lot of tutorial videos that we have on the analyzer, so please, after this, do go and watch those. But if I wanted to view a game or any piece of match footage that was on my computer, I can open the game up. And on the left-hand side here, I'm going to have all of the parts that I've coded of this game beforehand. So if I double click on them, it will take me to that moment in the game so I can watch it. And it's really simple to code using the analyzer. You can just play your footage from a point, hit this record button, and if we wanted to stop the footage a few seconds later, we can just right click on the screen, and now we can fill out the formula. So when did the attack start? The attack began as possession play, a deep pass through, stopped in the offensive third, and we can link it to particular players, say who lost the ball, did it end up in a goal, and we can hit save. So when we're watching at any other point, we can always go back and watch that particular clip. Now, we can also view the events of that particular game. So if these are all of the little clips that we've coded, and it looks like a lot of them start in the defensive third. So we could almost select all of these and we could send them to our defensive players, defensive minded athletes, defenders that you have in a particular team. So if you wanted to, you can cut them up, merge them together, send them to your documents collection, put them into a presentation, whatever you wanted to do. It's really simple to just cut the clips up and send them off to your athletes and your coaches, or just store them in your collections for viewing later on. Similarly to the analyzer, we have our presenter, and the presenter is a really nice, intuitive video drawing tool. So if I wanted to create a new presentation, let's call it basketball analysis, we can upload a video. That video gets loaded in straight away, and I'll mute this for you. If we wanted to play the video up to a certain point and pause, we've got the ability to draw on the footage. So if I click this drawing tab, I get a lot of tools up the top here that I can use. So if I wanted to identify all of the players on the defensive team in blue, I can draw the cones over them accordingly like this. And we can decide how long do we want this clip to go for, when did you want the cones to come down, so we can offset them so it just plays a little bit nicely. If we press this little button, we can see how they're going to fall. Afterwards, we might want to show the offensive line to the rim like this, and we can put text over the top to identify space, put comments, anything that you want to say as a coach. And we can drag this so they pop up one after the other. Now this isn't a very great example, but it's really intuitive, really nice and easy to draw and edit footage. So if we make this go for only 5 seconds and I hit save and close, we could be watching this video again in our presentation. The clip's going to draw from the point that we started, and then after 5 seconds continue the video. Really easy. And we can put things like voiceover over the top, any other videos, images, text. then we can export that straight to our collections or share it accordingly with your athletes and coaches. So if we can export that to our desktop, or we can share that into our documents collection straight away. On the mobile app, from the home page, I can also go to the collections tab and I can view all of the drills that my club's given me access to, all of the exercises if I wanted to do a gym program from home. And these are already tagged accordingly by exercise type, equipment, the type of movement. So if an athlete only has access to dumbbells, they could search for all of the exercises in the collection that have dumbbells. Click on them, watch the video, perform them in the gym. And the athletes also have access to particular documents if you want them to, workout programs, so they can go and perform them at home, add them to their calendar straight away. The same with team practices. If you're a coach and you want to put a monthly plan for 4 weeks in of training, you can do so. A really nice feature for athletes and coaches using the mobile app is to put the XPS calendar into your mobile phone calendar as well. And to do this, we can just hit the 3 bars at the top here, click the little settings tab, and we can scroll down to where it says calendar link settings. We can click on this blue button and we can just say use a Google link or an Apple phone, depending if you have an Android or an iPhone, and that's going to go straight onto your phone calendar for you. Really easy. You can change your name, email and password here if you want to as well. The last feature I wanted to go through is XPS Health. Now if you have access to XPS Health, you will see the health bar appear up the top here, and you will see training status. Now training status will give you an overview of your teams, so you can see who's available, who is unavailable, and we can also see this on the mobile. So if we go across to training status here, we can see who's available, who's unavailable. We can click on a particular athlete, see when their estimated return to play is, and that they have an injury. Now, if we wanted to log these injuries as a physio or as one of your medical team, you can go into the health function at the top here. XPS Health is run off its own server in order to handle medical documents and information, so you'll have to sign in using your XPS Health login, and then you'll have to use Google Authenticator to enter your PIN. This will give you access to the XPS Health dashboard. Now, if I'm a physio or if I'm from the medical team and Rusty as an athlete walks in and says, listen, I have an injury, we can click register at the top right here, and we can register injury, illness, make a treatment plan, or upload some important medical information on that athlete. So let's register an injury. Let's say he's got an ACL tear in his knee. We can click on this, decide all of the details about the particular injury. So how did it happen? During a match, landing, coming down from a layup, when is the estimated return to play for the athlete? So an ACL injury is usually going to take a few months. So let's say the 1st of June. Change this training status to unavailable. And now we can click all these nice colors into the pain area for the athlete. So the more you click, the more it changes color. So you've got red, orange and yellow here, and the surrounding muscles. Once all of that's complete, you might want to put in things like the pain level. So if the athlete came to us a week ago and said that the pain was a 10 out of 10, but now this week the pain's only a 7, it's going to log that for you on this little graph. And now we can upload medical documents, doctor's certificates, create treatment plans, so our S&C coaches know how to treat this accordingly and can create rehab programs on XPS. Now, everything that we've just put into this injury, so let me just click another one here. If we click done, all of the changes and information that we've put onto this injury report will be sent to the particular coaches that we decide to send it to. Now the athlete's status is going to turn unavailable, and you'll see that there is now 6 unavailable. Similar on the phone, where if we go across to our training status, there is now 6 unavailable. We can scroll down and click on Rusty and see that he's now out until the 1st of June 2023. Additionally, in XPS Health you have an event log, so you can have this overview log of everything that's been put into the system: injuries, illnesses, treatment plans. You can really see how working with your physios and medical team here, sending all of this information back to your coaches, it's just creating this level of communication in one central place that you may not have had before. It's just really nice to be able to work with everything in the one space. Just to finish off, guys, if you also use the tab in the bottom left here, you can close and just have the icons appearing here, so you've got a little bit more room to work with. You can view your tables with a bit more room, and then we can click it again just to open back up. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to your country manager or our support team. Thanks.